This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, and welcome to another edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young at the PLEX, or by a piano bar with a fireplace, and Vinny, the bobblehead man, the maestro. He's accompanying his master, Coach Ed Young. Are you the master, the puppet master?
You don't use the word master. Not a good connotation to use.
Bobblehead master.
Vinny is in charge of public relations. He is part of my management team. And I thought you fell out.
No. I was going to the fridge. I have a fridge right here in my palatial mansion here.
Yeah. So I would say your palatial mansion right there. Once again, for those out there joining us for the first time,
like my dry fit, Ed.
Yeah, Hatfield is.
You want one of these?
That's not bad. I'll get one hopefully later.
$49.95 plus tax.
Again, you got Vinny going crazy with the money.
I might give Vinny a free one. I like Vinny better than you.
I don't think you can find one to fit him. He's so kind of stuck on his doggone. He's been wearing one of my old suits for I don't know how long.
We have various sizes. We have extra small, extra large, XXX, and miniature size. We have all the different sizes.
Well, that's right. Today is a big day for you and the basketball community.
Yeah.
As the what number? What annual number?
Well, if you look at the shirt here, it tells you.
15th annual.
That's right.
Virginia Preps. Vinny, you're gonna have to get out of the way.
Yeah. Tell him to go feed the dog.
Yeah, the dog is somewhere over there running around. I think I left him outside. I have to go find out. 15th annual VirginiaPreps.com basketball classic at
Green Run High School today.
At Green Run, which has been the location of some great preps classics over the years. And
we've had it there, Virginia Wesleyan, Oscar Smith, Churchland, Henrico, J.R. Tucker. We've probably had it about 8 or 9 different venues.
Yeah, I know there was a while.
The most popular locations have been Green Run and Virginia Wesleyan, probably.
I'm going to vote Wesleyan as your absolute best. The college court space, I think, is by far the best. Mm-hmm. Green Run is not bad. I like it. I'm prejudiced, though. I like it when you have it in the 757 instead of when you try to accommodate your comrades on the 804, because you do get a lot of those teams in it, too. So you try to move it around. So we just keep it down here.
Yeah. By the way, we've got a lot to do here in a condensed show, probably about an abbreviated hour show we have today. And we're going to effort. We'll see if it works. Streaming some of the games with our great folks at Cova Sports TV. Nick Senti will be out there. Our man Jack Lowe will be out there, who was at your game last week. I know, obviously, the games are up through the NFHS network. We'll have, obviously, full HD copies up for subscribers on VirginiaPreps.com in the coming days and weeks anyhow. But a lot happening. One slight minor scheduling change if you're just waking up and you haven't been following the internet, the computer, seen our snazzy preview we have on the front page of VirginiaPreps.com, which ordinarily would be a subscriber item, but you can see it for free. So that means Ed can log on to it without his login, which he pesters me and bugs me all the time for because he forgets it. Like most coaches above a certain age constantly text me, email me, call me, what's my login? I don't know why you guys can't write things down or remember it, or even hit the forgot password button and have it sent to you. However, my dad's the same way, so I'm used to him with all those issues. So it's nothing that I'm surprised by. Anyhow, we did have one slight scheduling change, and that is that West Springfield, due to Fairfax County not allowed to travel because of the inclement weather, they're not able to come down, but fortunately they're going to play next week against Kecoughtan. So instead of having 7 games today and 3 next week, as we'll show the ticker with the matchups and the times for everybody that's not up to speed on who's playing who, when, where, and what, Kecoughtan West Springfield will tip off a 4-game event next week instead of a 3-game event at 3 o'clock, followed by the 5 o'clock matchups, 6:30 and 8 o'clock matchups, which are Kings Fork West Potomac, Ferrani Green Run, and Landstown Maury. Today we have 6 games, just a little bit of a gap between game 2 and game 4, which is now game 3. We start off things with Kellum at 11 a.m. against Franklin, 2 teams that have beaten Ed Young in showcases before. Franklin last year in the Western Branch Showcase, and Kellum setting a Virginia Preps Classic record for points with 92 in the 2nd annual event.
Yeah, that was a rough one where
you just love how I bring up bad memories, don't you?
Storm and Norman ran it up on me. I've not forgiven them since. I don't think we've talked since then. I'm not sure.
That's a lie.
Franklin game was a good one. That was a back and forth one for very talented team, single A, who is going to be in the hunt, I think, come playoff time, state playoff time, I think. And their opponent could be the team you got in the second game.
Yeah, Lancaster's going to play at about 12:45 instead of 12:30. We're going to stagger about 15 minutes there, give them a little bit longer halftime break so we don't have as long a gap between their game and the game that follows it. But Lancaster, the defending state champs in Class 1, will take on Peninsula Catholic. If you're wondering about the records of these teams, I've got that for you as well. It's not on our ticker. However, 10-6 Franklin versus 8-4 Kellum. We have 10-1 Lancaster against 13-7 Peninsula Catholic, which is surging winners of 7 straight. 3:30 will be Cape Henry, who's not having its typical year record-wise. They've had a couple of injuries. They're 5-8. They play a tough schedule under Coach Mark Hall, a veteran at it who's won a trio of state titles. Taking on Gainesville, who's 11-6, relatively new school in like its 3rd or 4th year of existence. Justin Powers' team coming down. Got a big win over Battlefield this week, who Ed has been a state tournament fixture, playoff fixture for years. 5 o'clock will be a big one. Catholic out of Virginia Beach. Bobby Steinberg's Crusaders at 13-5, taking on Forest Park, who is 10-3 overall. Just had DK Moore go over 1,000 career points this week. 6:30, the Tunstall Trojans bringing down a fan bus, 15-0 overall on the year, averaging over 74 points a game, taking on 11-1 Oscar Smith. Now that's Oscar Smith, number 1 in the state in Class 6, Tunstall, number 3 in the state in Class 3, behind only Lake Taylor and Spotswood, 2 other unblemished teams. And then 8 o'clock is Monacan at 9-5, taking on Kempsville at 10-3, and I will make a Charles Barkley guarantee. You know what that guarantee is?
One of the Chiefs. What's their nicknames? The Chiefs.
The Chiefs will win that basketball game. The Monacan Chiefs and the Kempsville Chiefs.
Yeah,
that's the classic. Come on down. If you can't watch it online, we encourage you to come on out. $10 tickets. You got to get them through GoFan online, and you'll be good to go. Oh, our man Dan Malloy says good morning. We say good morning to him wherever you may be tuning in on TV, Facebook, Twitter, or X at 757 Sports Talk. Also on the YouTube channel and VirginiaPreps.com as well. And we have some clips that are on Instagram and TikTok. I think I told you last time, or it might have been one of the times, Jack has been working diligently for us on the TikTok. We had one of the clips with you with the axe throwing got like 170. I was mesmerized by how many clicks and views it got. Now it's either that's your fandom, your popularity, or people wanting me to have an axe thrown at me, which I hope it's not the latter. So, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of to help the fandom out there. We should do one where you like up against a wall, and I throw an axe, but I have to try to miss you.
Don't do that.
That would be. I wonder how many people out there listening would like to see me actually with my axe throwing skills, in which I've finally been able to hit the board, throw a few at Hatfield while he stands up there, and I have to miss him.
Our viewers do not condone violence unless it's on Law and Order, which, by the way, had a great triple header on NBC Thursday night. It's my favorite show, my guilty pleasure. Love that show. You get the Law and Order, you get the SVU, then you get the organized crime, and boom, 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 away you go. Triple header. Just like we were going to have a triple header next week, but we got a quad header for you, Ed. How about that?
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, too, next week, the second part of the Virginia Preps Classic with some more games over at Green Run. And the weather cooperated with you
we
today.
think, fingers crossed. Now, you say that and start making forecast predictions.
I didn't want to say nothing coming in because every year I say you're going to have good weather, and it has happened. I think there was one year that it was a problem.
Yeah, more than one year.
And that's the year I said you'll probably get a couple inches of snow.
No, it's not. You said it'd be sunny and 80, and we didn't get that. So, yeah. Hey, you won a basketball game last night against your Suffolk rival, who, if my man Derek is out there watching, he was giving me updates, feeding me updates, I think, of the girls' game and the boys' game. And I think you were up only 6. It was like 11 at halftime. I told my man Derek, I said, Ed was a little nervous about his game. The next thing you know, he won by like 40. And I said, that escalated quickly. So you got a victory. Did your Warriors, led by Haven Nicholas, had a big game, I see. And I'm looking for the final 86-55. I'm showing with Haven getting 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 block shots to go with 4 dunks and 2 threes. So he's one off my career dunk total there. How about that?
Yeah, but he got all his in one game. It took you what, 7 years in high school plus?
No, it took me 5 minutes. It took me 5 minutes in my teenage bedroom to do it on the little Nerf basketball.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, because it was either PE class with a ladder or Nerf ball bedroom. But the young fellows did well last night. The first half, I was not happy with our defensive, whatever word I want to put in there.
Intensity.
I almost gave you the wrong
Attention
word.
to detail.
Yeah, we were
By
giving
the
up.
way, my new favorite phrase, you're going to hear it coming up in an interview with Dwight Robinson from Landstown. And then I actually heard, might have been Delisha Milton-Jones from our ODU women, who have a big game today at James Madison, by the way, in the Town Bank Royal Rivalry Challenge. The new one I love is to control the controllables. I'm waiting for you to start dropping that, control the controllables.
You know, I've heard that.
A lot of coaches are dropping that, not just those two, but those are two successful coaches now, but a lot of them are using the controllables.
I've heard that phrase by somebody a while ago. I think it was on a college level. I'd heard it.
Yeah. It's becoming popular. It's the new in vogue phrase. You know, there's always these in vogue phrases with you coaches, all you wily veterans and cagey coaches out there.
Well, you know, we're always searching for the perfect phrase or word that kind of sounds catchy and nice. I sometimes just, as I said last night in our pregame talk, normally we put a scouting report up on the board, go over things. I said, fellas, they're playing Lakeland. It's a rival. You beat them before. They're struggling this year. To beat you here would be big for them. And then we go out and play all right. It was the first game since the first game down in Raleigh, North Carolina tournament where we led JF Webb from start to finish. We led in this game start to finish. But the problem was our defense last night was pretty much letting Lakeland attack, get rebounds, get layups. I think they only hit two jump shots outside the key in the entire first half last night. It was all taken to the hole. So we had a meeting, an intense meeting at halftime about fixing that defense up, or I'll have to recruit new kids out of the stands. And they decided to fix that defense up. And then we also shot the ball really well second half. I think we shot 54%. And, of course, Haven led a lot of that. But we had everybody scored, and we had pretty balanced scoring. I think after Haven, it was we had two guys with 10, a couple guys with 7, a couple guys with 8. So everybody was contributing, but I needed a contribution on the defensive end from everybody, and we got that. So I didn't have to preach as loudly as I've had to in the last few games. Good to know. What's your record now? You know off the top of your head? We're 10-4 next week. It's a tough week with a very good Indian River team at Indian River on Tuesday, and then you've already mentioned where they're ranked. Oscar Smith on Friday comes to the River and could still be ranked number 1 at that point. All right, so there you have it. That is the latest and greatest from Edward Vincent Young. And one of these days we will be afforded another invitation. I had somebody ask me, how come your buddy doesn't put you in his tournament? I said, he said, we're not that good. What do you want? No, I think you're still mad about Christchurch and Devin Robinson having a dunk NBA Jam Fest against you guys. Although you battled him very tough for about three and a half quarters, and then Robinson got loose at the end. He just took over. He was a talent. He's not still in the NBA. No, he's not. He was. And he's going to be part of we have a special Virginia Preps Classic Fact or Fiction edition. You don't have a competitor day. It's you versus yourself or Vinny or just the audience out there. They can keep their own tally to see how they do against you. We got 5 burning questions if you are up to playing Fact or Fiction Virginia Preps Classic style. Since your last loss came against my father, the JMU alum himself, Michael S. Hatfield, back in December during the state football championships. You took a blemish against him. The Hat's probably not listening right now. Matt gets a little upset, so I kind of fell apart on a couple questions on purpose. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Don't lie to our audience. I want him to get the win so he would feel good, take care of you, because I know every once in a while he'll take you out to the state place. So don't tell him that, because I don't want him to think that, I underhandedly did something. Okay. Hey, before we go to break, and guess who's going to be at the Virginia Preps Classic today taking photos? The one and only Bob Lanham. So you go out and get his autograph, Ed, and give him a hard time about, and I'd hate to bring it up. It was a rough one for his, I was going to say our Cleveland Browns, but I would be lying. I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan. Though I did want to see his Browns advance. I did want to see Owusu from Bethel, Thornhill from Alta Vista get on to the next round. The Houston Texans, who are red hot, by the way, we'll see if they're part of our picks today in the selections with Bruce Pearl, who had a rough winless week, by the way. I went 3-0 again for the second straight week. And how about getting that under in the Lions-Rams game? It had 38 points in the first half. I was cooked, we thought, 3 field goals the rest of the way, and I was living the good life, baby. Edward went 2-1
what was your one blemish? I thought you had 2 blemishes. You lost Dallas. I know that, right? Actually, you went 1-2. You lost Philadelphia, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought Philly was a guarantee win. Yes,
you went 1-2. So you both had losing weeks, and I go unbeaten for the second week in a row. I am rolling. How about that?
Yeah, I thank you, Dallas and Philly, 2 biggest laid eggs in playoff history. I mean, there's no words for it.
Yeah,
no words for it. How they played it. At Dallas, I can't say what I want to say. I don't know. I don't know. The 2 teams started out great. Actually, Dallas was pretty doggone good all year. Philly's one started out hot, 10-1. A lot of people saying the NFC representing the Super Bowl. And then it became, well, maybe San Francisco, but they'll play for the NFC Championship. And by season's end, Philly was among the worst teams. A total collapse. And, of course, everybody's asking for Nick Sirianni's head, but I don't think he's gone. I think he'll stay. I think they had the meeting, Friday? And we haven't heard anything about it, coaching changes. And, of course, them Cowboys, they're deciding.
Yeah, how are they bringing him back? Who's he got? Does the great McCarthy have some pictures on Jerry Jones or something? How did he keep his job? My gracious, that's a mystery.
Well, as I mentioned,
get the mystery machine out on that one. Jeez.
Well, I mentioned some people this week when they said about him gone, and I said, well, look what what happened with Jason Garrett, who I don't think is as good as a head coach as McCarthy is. I think Reed would be a great assistant, but not a head coach. He flopped also, and he had 1 more year left on his contract, and Jones brought him back. Then I think they replaced him. It's really Jones following what he's done before. McCarthy's had a very good record. It's unfortunately when you're at that level that you're not based on what you do in the regular season. A, you got to get into playoffs. B, you've got to win. With them, they got to win a few, if not get to the NFC Championship at least, which is a lot more pressure. There's some teams, if they just have a winning record after having losing records for a while, it's reason to give the head coach an extension. Or get into playoffs, and they haven't been in the playoffs for a while, give them a 5-year extension. That's not true in Dallas. Their expectation is really Super Bowl every year, which doesn't happen. And at the very least, win a couple playoff games. Didn't happen. My suspicion is next year with McCarthy, if he doesn't get in the Super Bowl, he's gone.
You really think so? He's gone.
I thought there for a second you were gone.
I was gone. Now the cops were knocking on the door, and I said I don't want to leave yet. So that was I had to go tend to some business. They're gonna let me stay for an hour.
It does amaze me. And again, I've had people ask me about when they see the show that they said, "Hey, you've been over to Hatfield's place." I said, "Yeah." Does he play the piano? I go, number one, it's not Hatfield's place. He breaks into a neighbor's place when they have a weekend job in D.C. And in the summertime, he goes over there and jumps in their pool, hops the fence, jumps in the pool. I said, no, and he has no clue what a piano is. He sits at the piano. He don't even know how to play the keys. And they said, how does he get away with breaking in? I said, well, they think he's there to clean the place. So they really don't say nothing. But in reality, he's raiding the refrigerator. And as you see, he is all over the place in this house. So,
yeah. Well, we've got, as you see on the screen, VaPreps Classic edition of Fact or Fiction. We got the interview with Dwight Robinson. We'll do the NFL picks at the end with yours truly.
Hold on. Oh,
now you're going to try to pop out?
I need an opponent.
Who wants to join you and play?
We got to get somebody on in some manner. We don't do those. Ain't radio no more, so we don't have the phone situation yet. I'm more motivated when I have an opponent, but the competition in me is strong.
Okay. But we'll give people about 10, 15 minutes they want to line up against you. I mean, that you are an intimidating person. We'll put the link up on Facebook and see if they join it. We put the share link, so if they want to play you, they can play you. I mean, it's
they can throw an answer online. They could do that. That's right. They can type it in, put the answer online, and of course I know what they'll do is go try to look it up, or you'll flash them an answer somewhere, which you always do.
Absolutely. This game is rigged. As a great man once told me and taught me, lie if you can, steal if you must, but always cheat. There you go.
Yeah, so you pretty much live by that manner.
But we are going to also have the interview with Dwight Robinson, the NFL Picks Divisional Round with yours truly, Ed and Bruce Pearl, and we'll sign off here in just a little bit. It'll be a shortened show, about an hour tops. So we're going to take a time out. Make sure you watch these commercials closely, because these are the loyal folks that support and sponsor us and allow us to do all the different streaming events from the PLEX and beyond, whether it be football, basketball, field hockey, soccer, lacrosse, you name it, and so many great things. And Ed will have to keep a close eye on the end of the commercial break, because he might see something that will help him in terms of preparation for next week. So that's all coming your way right here with Hatfield and Young on Cova Sports TV. Have you gone to places and told them you're with Cova Sports TV yet? You need to do that.
Well, knowing me, I get things mixed up. I would be saying COVID Sports, and then we get nobody.
Don't say that.
Watch the commercials closely, because somebody asked me the other day, hey, and then one of the commercials, it looked like we were in one of them. And my quick response was, I've got a penchant for pizza, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so maybe you got that coming up. We'll see. Keep an eye out. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Revitalize your property today. Shine Time is your turnkey solution for all power washing and painting projects. With years of experience in both residential and large-scale commercial settings, their focus is to bring new life to your home, building, or outdoor space and ensure 100% customer satisfaction every time. Shine Time Power Wash.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
The DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
Great Southeastern District rivalry matchup once again. This time, Indian River plays host to the Western Branch Bruins. And things got started off hot here for the Western Branch Bruins as Victor Parson, a little slithery layup move to start things off. Next up, Davion Riddick. Nice pass to Jonathan Shaw as he puts in the easy 2. And Indian River giving a tribute to the football program who's the 5A region champions this year. Second half begins. Nice little pass to Stephen Walton, and he drills a 3. But wait, Stephen Petaway says, I want in on this one for 3 as he drills one. He had 5 threes all game. He was monstrous from behind the line. But then Stephen Petaway again after a nice dime from Markel Smith from deep. He drills it. And then a great pass from Davion Reddick to Stephen Petaway as he puts that in, and Indian River ended up pulling this one out, 60-49. I'm Jack Lowe, Cova Sports.
So thanks to Jack there. You saw some highlights of Indian River's win over Western Branch, 60-49. Jarrell Smith and Stephen Pettaway each having pretty strong performances in that Southeastern District game. And Ed Young was of a very interested viewer of that because he has Indian River on the road coming up on Tuesday as he watched Pettaway and Smith get some of their 17 points apiece for Coach Clyde Spellman's Braves. We'll see some more highlights coming up as Jack did a double dip on Friday night, including Kellum and Kempsville in Virginia Beach, but we stay in Virginia Beach because we have a little bit of sound from one of the games on Friday night.
Yeah, you had the opportunity to see some action too with Landstown and PA, Princess Anne going at it, and then you had a chance to speak with Dwight Robinson, a fantastic head coach of Landstown, who is, if I'm not mistaken, moving in on 400 wins. Coming up shortly and soon.
I think he's now at 396. He could have potentially gotten it at the Virginia Preps Classic because they play Tallwood and Bayside next week. They had a game scheduled today against Wise out of Maryland, who's no cupcake, no easy team there. Coach Lou Wilson, a veteran, but had they won all three of those, he would have been possibly at 399 before the big showdown with Maury next Saturday night. So could have had a little potential storyline there for that, and might have to wait till afterwards. If he keeps winning, it could come after that, possibly in a matchup against the Salem or Kempsville. We shall see. It's going to come at some point very soon.
Well, he got a win last night with 67-43 over Princess Anne, and you had a chance to talk with Dwight after the ball game and get his thoughts on what his team did. So let's see what happens here on COVID Sports. Matt Hatfield, Dwight Robinson.
All right, here with Landstown head basketball coach Dwight Robinson as the Eagles win this one by a count of 67-43 over Princess Anne, and they move to 12-4. I think it is something like that, Coach. So, first half, a little bit of a sluggish game, 7-5 in the first quarter, defensive struggle, 21-13 at the break. What did you tell your guys at halftime? Because you came out in the third quarter, really got a good flow going offensively, made some shots, and started to play like some Landstown teams that start to click this time of year.
Told them stop being selfish. Move the basketball. Stop taking every first shot you get. Move the ball around. We were playing good defensively, making them struggle for every basket when I thought we had mismatches all over the floor. And I was like, look, we got to find a mismatch. We find a mismatch. There's always a mismatch. Sean being 6'6", Xavier 6'4", but athletic. Then I got a big guard and Demir. And then the other guys can all shoot it, can handle it. So we just need to be patient on offense, make the extra pass. And I thought we'd get them up out of here.
Two of your better guys are sophomores. You mentioned Deshaun Spellman and Xavier Cleveland. They started as freshmen a year ago. Very athletic, bouncy guys. I think Zay had 3 dunks tonight. What are you seeing from them in terms of the growth? Because they combined for 32 points and really took charge early in that third quarter.
Well, that was the thing. I went in there. I said, hey, man, are y'all going to show up? Are y'all going to dominate this half? Because that's what you're capable of doing. And so Sean did. He came out. He hit 2 threes. We went inside to Xavier. We got in transition and finished some. And both of them guys, they kind of – and Sean had a heck of a game tonight. He blocked I don't know how many shots tonight. And Xavier had 10-plus rebounds. So they really dominated the game, but Demir controlled the game. And once Demir started controlling the game, making the right decisions, getting it to the right people, using his height to look over the defense, then we took control.
And touching on Demir Pollard, I know older brother played basketball, sister played basketball, comes from a basketball family. Is he really kind of the barometer for you all as you get closer to playoff time? You kind of go as he goes?
Yeah, no doubt. He's a senior. He's our captain. Last year he was an all-region player, which he grew into that role last year at the point. He started a little shaky in the first half, and that's kind of why we didn't go where we were. And then the second half, he played great, played excellent on defense, got it to the right people, made good decisions, the whole second half. And, the result is that we run away with it. And I would be remiss not to say, Alonzo Martinez and Trey Campos came in, and they really played great defense and really got after it defensively, and they're dudes off the bench.
Yeah, those 2 guys off the bench giving you 13 points to go with that defense. A couple more for you. You play a rugged schedule year in and year out, even beyond the Beach District where you have the Green Runs and others in your city here. You played John Marshall, you played Lake Taylor, some out-of-state tournaments. You got Maury coming up in our Virginia Preps Classic next weekend. What do you like to see as you go from December to January, February? Because some teams will peak early. It seems like your team starts to peak as you get closer to regional time.
Well, that's the thing. You want to be good late, not early. And so we started shaky and really didn't play with that kind of intensity. And defensively, we didn't have that kind of grit. And we've developed that kind of grit. When we got to Christmas break, we really concentrated on our defensive rotations, just staying in front of people, being tough. And we had to grow into being a tougher team. And then just playing our roles too, even defensively. Some guys being a star in their role and being a defender, as opposed to everybody thinks they can shoot 3 balls, which we were doing in the summer. Everybody was just letting it go. But now we've kind of defined the roles a little bit better. And so, I think that's why we're really taking off and getting a little bit better now.
And lastly, as you look at this Class 6 picture where you always are seemingly in the hunt for a regional state championship, what's it going to take for you to kind of be right there come March, competing for that ultimate prize?
Consistency, good leadership, and then just play good defense. I think offensively, we do have our laws and our ups and downs, but, we know where we can go to try to get a basket or at least get a good shot. And that's what you want. You want to be able to get a good shot. And so I think we can get good shots. Whether we're hitting or not, that's something different. But the things we really can control is our effort, our defense, our leadership. And if you control those things, you always got a chance. And so as long as we can control the controllables, I think we always have a chance against whoever we're playing. If we shoot it really well, the game could go a totally different way. But these guys are starting to become locked in, and they know the expectations.
Well, congrats on the win. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.
Yep, thanks.
So that was Dwight Robinson, head basketball coach of the Landstown Eagles, who got themselves a pretty satisfying pull-away 67-43 win over Prince Sandwich. Has a pretty darn good guard themselves in Styles Clemens, a sophomore. Some other players that stepped up, and Devin Askew and Aiden McKinney to this point in the season, Ed. But it's been a little bit of a whirlwind for Dwight Robinson. As we mentioned, coming up on 400 wins. He lost his father, passed away at the age of 91, I believe about a month or two ago. And I know you've dealt with that on a personal level, Ed, with your mom during a basketball season. It's tough to kind of navigate those waters during a season, any time of the year, not just during a basketball season. But his team is starting to really find itself. And they don't have maybe the prolific, established scoring threat, go-to guy the way that Donald Hand Jr., his stepson, was, who's now at Boston College. Michael Christmas, who went to James Madison and is at Longwood, or has, I think most recently been at Longwood, was a state player like Hand. And even, names that you think of like the Stanley Pringles of the world and Darius Bolstads. But those sophomores, especially Deshaun Spellman to go with Zay Cleveland, are going to be a handful for a couple of years. And, oh, by the way, we talked about it in the summertime at the Virginia Wesleyan team camp. His son, Damian Robinson, is an 8th grader who's going to be a phenom, I think, coming up. So it's like they say when the president gets elected, whoever that is, Republican or Democrat side of the aisle, 4 more years, baby. He's going to be there for 4 more years.
Yeah, I think Dwight would probably look forward to coaching his son, which is not easy. Could be tough on either side. I don't have a son, but I've coached guys whose dad was a coach. B.J. Jenkins comes to mind at Green Run High School. His dad was assistant on our staff, and I had to coach his dad, late great Bobby Jenkins, in terms of not to be as harsh on your son. More so coach other players. Coach the other players. Don't ignore your son, but he's more your son than one of your players. But I know Dwight will look forward to that, and his son's going to be a tremendous player. I'm sure Dwight would handle that well. And Dwight is on track. He will get 500. He'll be a coach that gets the 500 wins before it's all said and done. His teams play strong defense. I would dare say that probably of all the teams in the area, he is the one that you can count on defensively. Are going to be strong every ball game, right position, right cadence on defense, rhythm on defense, and in terms of what they're doing.
Yeah, we got you. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. You had my man Dan Campbell. I think that was a quick five.
It was a glitch. Yeah, it was a glitch. We apologize about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, you continue your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Hey, and Dwight talked about you control the controllables.
Yeah.
Well, if you read the little thing you put up about Dan Campbell, if nobody saw it last week, he controls the controllables, especially when he's making sweet love with his wife.
Oh, there you go with that again.
You control it. It's still one of the greatest things on it. We'll have to let our listeners see that again and talk about it maybe later on, not right now. Wait to see what Dan Campbell says about the controllables. But next week will be a big one at Virginia Preps Classic with Landstown and Maury going at it.
Yeah, let's show the matchups for the screen. We'll put them up there now. That's what we were efforting showing you, not Dan Campbell. Apparently, there we go. Now we got the right thing. We ended up clicking on Dan Campbell, not the matchups for today. And you see of those 6 games, and we'll also show the games for next week to get Ed Young's quick thoughts before we go to break here. And we got a little bit more highlight action to show you too, Ed. What game is most likely to go to OT as we get ready to do Fact or Fiction today? What game's the one that you think is OT bound potentially?
Well, I think the game that stands out the most, and they're all good. I think I said last week, Oscar Smith, Tunstall. Two very good teams. They're highly ranked. Smith, number 1, 6A, Tunstall, number 3. And they're undefeated. And that's going to show you how tough 3A is. So that matchup, I think, is going to be a good one. But you can really put a check mark by any of them in terms of saying, well, you want to see this matchup. You know, people don't forget now, Franklin, Lancaster, even though they are single A teams, get it out of your head that single A means they're not that good. Those two teams are very good. And I conceivably could be two teams playing each other for a state title, depending on matchups. They played last year, if I'm not mistaken. Was it in the opening round of states?
They played in the regional championship.
Okay.
Yep. And Alta Vista knocked off Franklin, if I remember right, in the quarterfinals. Okay. Lancaster ended up beating George Wythe in the championship. George Wythe has been ranked number 1 much of the year until just recently. And Troy Henderson just set the school scoring record for Lancaster. So that's a good one there. And just to recap, if you missed it earlier, the records, you got 10-6 Franklin, 8-4 Kellum, 10-1 Lancaster, 13-7 Peninsula Catholic, 5-8 Cape Henry, 11-6 Gainesville, 10-3 Forest Park versus Catholic, who's 13-5, 15-0 Tunstall, 11-1 Oscar Smith, and Monacan, who's 9-5. The Chiefs taking on the Chiefs of Kempsville under the direction of Darren Sanderlin, who are 10-3. And surging a bit here, Ed, is there was no real shocker in the area from Friday night's games. One score I do want to pass on that was a defensive grudge match game, maybe the best game of the night. It was over in Norfolk. Maury outlasting and edging Norview 35-33. So Norview took a couple of losses this week after rallying to beat Princess Anne last Saturday night in the MABC showcase at Atlantic Shores. They fell to Lake Taylor by a pretty wide margin on Wednesday night, and Lake Taylor still no losses since that Eastern District tournament final with Maury, who they ended up beating pretty soundly before Christmas break. So the other matchups for the 27th, there they are. It's now 4 games to Kickingham, West Springfield, Kings Fork, West Potomac, Green Run, the host school against Verina, the defending state champs in Class 4, and Landstown taking on Maury, 8 p.m. I'll ask you a different question before we get to our break and do some fact or fiction. There are some prolific scorers in this event, as you know. Troy Henderson, who I just mentioned from Lancaster. E.J. Joyner, son of Hampton University coach Edward Buck Joyner, who had 42 points this week. He of Peninsula Catholic fame. K.J. Weiss, who we called his state championship game last year at the Siegel Center in Richmond at VCU against E.C. Glass. What a show that was with him and Amandre Harris. That was something to watch, as you remember. What is the possibility that the scoring record of 38 points set by Lake Taylor's Jalen Jordan against L.C. Bird in January of 2018 at Henrico High School, that record gets broken either this weekend or next weekend?
What's the total again?
38 points for Jalen Jordan. After him, your next highest totals are Jared Clausen's 36 from Thomas Edison and a loss to Tallwood. Clausen, by the way, plays at Virginia State currently. 33 by Loudoun Valley's Jordan Miller of the NBA's Los Angeles Clippers. I think he's on the G League team now, but he was drafted by the Clippers this past summer in the second round. Miller did that for Loudoun Valley against Phoebus in January of 2018. And then last year, Deshaun Orman of Kickingham had 32 in a win over Lake Taylor at Virginia Wesleyan. Year before that, Landstown's Donald Hand Jr. had 32 in a loss to Hatfield in January of 2022. And then a host of players had 31, including Efton Reed of Stewart School, who is now playing quite well, is Efton Reed in the ACC, and Rajay Bullock of Kickingham fame. But you remember Efton Reed, the big guy who went down to LSU, and then he went down to Gonzaga. Now he's one of the top big men in the ACC at Wake Forest for Steve Forbes.
He moved around a little bit. I know that.
Well, that's the transfer portal in college basketball. Get with the times or get used to it or you'll get left behind. That's what everybody is. If you don't play at 4 schools in college basketball, it's almost like, oh, what's wrong with you? I mean, who anymore plays for one school their entire career in college hoops?
Yeah, it's a little traveling music, and people would be amazed. I saw a story about this last weekend somewhere where they had a number of players who are playing at 3. It was either 3 or more schools or at least 3 schools, and it was a list. I mean, it's like 200, 300 some players. You never heard of that in bygone days. It was basically 1, maybe 2 schools. Now it's the average is 3 and then 4. You play 4 years in college, so you're on the average playing a different score every year. But that's what the portal has brought on. In terms of asking if that record's going to be broken, so I'm thinking somebody's got to drop 40, and I think the potential is always there. You've got outstanding players in this. I don't know if you have a standout. I mean, like just drop dead the best that could probably come up with 40. But I'm telling you, the potential in these 2 days for 40 is strong. I'm going to go on record and say they don't get it this time.
Oh, I think it will. But we'll have some more picks. You see the matchups again: Landstown, Maury, Green Run, Verona, Kings Fork, West Potomac, and Kecoughtan, West Springfield next week. We're going to take a time out and come back with a Virginia Preps Classic Fact or Fiction edition. Nobody has signed up. They're afraid of you right now. Maybe they'll see how you do today to play in the future with a mixture of questions that aren't just high school basketball VaPreps Classic related. But we're going to take a time out here from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you each and every week. And I think one of them might be Gatorade. You see, I got a Gatorade Zero right now with our man Dollar Dame of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think he's part of this next loop of commercials, we do believe. So we'll find out in just a moment. We'll come back with more with Hatfield and Young from the PLEX, Cova Sports TV. Don't you dare touch that dial.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Landstown Commons in Virginia Beach.
School and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, we're back with you on Cova Sports TV. I saw some highlights there of the Kempsville-Kellum game from last night, 55-37. The Chiefs a winner. Both of those teams in action today at the Virginia Preps Classic 15th Annual. The nightcap features Kempsville against Monacan in the Battle of Chiefs at 8 o'clock. The opener is at 11 a.m. with Kellum taking on Franklin. Get on over to Green Run High School. Tickets $10 all day. You can see yourself 6 games at less than $2 a pop there. Not too shabby. And it's time now for America's favorite game show. It's not Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or Regis Philbin playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It is Fact or Fiction, where we always root for Ed Young to lose. He's playing solo against the audience out there. Keep your tally, see how you do. And Ed, are you ready for this latest installment of Fact or Fiction? Whether you're ready or not, we're playing it, I guess. So.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, you know what? But I had hope Vinny once I got something to say. I don't know what he's got. This. Hold on here. This thing's. We got a little bit of action going on here with Vinny.
Why don't you have Vinny play and see if he just nods yes or no? If yes be fact, no means fiction.
I'm going to use Vinny as a help. He wants me something about
a lifeline.
Yeah, something about a disclaimer that this was not in the original contract, and if it's a loss, the loss would not be counted.
Okay, that's fine. We'll give you a tie, and you have plenty of those in your closet. So, all right, here we go. First question: Fact or fiction? Former NBA player Devin Robinson, and we just talked about him, who started at Christ Church and at the University of Florida, holds the record for most blocks in a single game at the VirginiaPreps.com Classic. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
That is a fact.
That is a fact. Do you think it came against you?
I would say a strong possibility it came against us.
It didn't, but it is a fact. He had 10. And actually, it's a trick question because he holds it, but he also shares it. He had 10 blocks against Phoebus January 5th of 2013 at Virginia Wesleyan. And Marcus Burwell, who played at Bishop Sullivan then, now known as Catholic, had 10 against Woodrow Wilson, now known as Manor. It's funny how those two schools were named differently than what they are today, back on January 7th of 2012. Also, I believe that was at Virginia Wesleyan. So you go to Wesleyan, you're going to block some shots. Dave Macedo just hopes it's not against his guys, as the Mullins often played. I saw Macedo last night, by the way, over at Landstown. Good dude. One of the all-time.
Marcus Burrell, where did he end up playing college ball, you know?
Thought he went to – you would ask me that question. Maybe somebody out there who's watching can give me that. Well, I see. Well, that's a different Marcus Burwell. Sam Houston State is what I'm showing on a quick Google search. He was at – I was going to say he went JUCO. He went to Wallace State Community College with our guy John Meeks. You remember John Meeks?
Yes, I remember John. Yeah. John's a good dude.
So we didn't have to even use the audience for that. We didn't have to phone a friend or poll the audience to see where he went to school. But we do have question number 2 for you in Fact or Fiction. Here it is. No player has ever scored 30-plus points in a game twice in the history of the VirginiaPreps.com basketball classic. You got to think about this. You're Googling it. You're researching it. You're not going to find it until you get your hands on the booklet. My media friends have the answer because I sent them a booklet, but you haven't gotten a booklet yet. So.
I'm going to say yes.
You're going to say so you're going to say fiction.
Yeah, it's fiction because somebody has.
It's actually a fact. Donald Hand Jr. came awfully close. He had 32 against Hatfield. He also had 29 against Blue Ridge. Darion Sebron, who's in the NBA with the New Orleans Pelicans, came close as well. He had 29 one year. I forgot we had the other year. So a couple of guys have been close. Greg Jones, the big dog, as Ty White called him at John Marshall, had 29 against Landstown one year. I think you called that game on TV at Virginia Wesleyan with John Laser, the Lays man for HRSN. Remember that?
Yeah,
he had 29 in that game. Yeah, the big dog, Greg Jones, who played his college hoops at where did he start out? Was it No, he went to JMU. He didn't go to Hofstra. He almost went to Hofstra. He went to JMU. Then he went somewhere else, Division II, I think. Up there, played for Scott Burrell. Look at this. We're going down memory lane. That's question number 3. So, Eds, what do you got? 1 right, 1 wrong. Here's question 3. Does he get this right? There has never been a double overtime game in the history of the VirginiaPreps.com basketball classic. Fact or fiction?
Wow. First instinct is no.
So you're going to say it's a fact. That's your first instinct. Is that your ultimate guess?
And they always say, stay with your first answer. And
is that your final answer? Give me the Regis treatment.
No.
You got it. It's correct.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're changing your – I didn't mean to change – you were changing your pick, weren't you?
No, there's never been one.
There's never been one. You're right. All right, next question. So
you don't allow it. You don't allow it because
I would allow it in that second game today with that gap. Listen, Peninsula Catholic and Lancaster can play 4 overtimes. That'd be cool with it. Here we go. What's our next one? Only kidding, halfway. I mean, a 4 overtime game would be great. I watched one this year with W.T. Woodson, your buddy Doug Craig, your Pennsylvania buddy, and West Potomac, who's coming down next week. See how I tie it all back? That's what we do. We'll tie it all back. Either to the 7-5-7 or what we were talking about. No player has ever been named MVP at the Virginia Preps Classic on 3 separate occasions. You know, there's been some 2-time winners. Never been a 3-time winner. Is that
no? That's absolute. That is the absolute fact. Nobody's ever been MVP 3 times.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure about that one.
Positive?
Positive.
Would you bet your house on it?
No, I can't bet my house because I need a place to live.
Dang, I almost had Ed Young's house because it is fiction. You know who the player was? One that when you lay your head down at night, you think about his shot. The late, great Ashley James.
Oh, wow.
He got it session 3 of 2017, session 1 of 2018, and session 1 of 2019. And ironically enough, he had one more chance. There's only been a couple teams that have played twice in a year. Green Run was one of them. Oscar Smith was another one of them that did that. There was another team, I think, that had 2 games in a year. And one of those years, his teammate Carice Smith got it in the other session. I think that was the session at Oscar Smith against Western Albemarle, a team that, by the way, you lost to in the Classic, but Green Run beat. And so I think he was 3 for 4 in his shots of MVPs. He could have been a 4-time winner potentially. But how about that? 3-time winner, only one. So we should name the award the Ashley James MVP, right? We should, like the Bill Russell MVP. We should do that.
You could do that. I wouldn't.
It would make sense. We'll have to talk to the family and see what I think they do that. They do a benefit game. I don't want to steal the thunder of one of the great players in the area that we all miss. And his sister, by the way, having a fine career now at NC State. Over there might be all ACC first team, could be ACC player of the year. All right, what do we have up here? Last one, Ed. I think this is the last one, or we got a bonus one. Not only does Kellum hold the record for most points scored in a single game at the Virginia Preps Classic, but also the record for most made threes by a team in a single game at the event. Is that a fact or is that fiction?
Kellum holds a record for most points. I've seen that one up close. They did hit a bunch of threes against us. I'm going to say fiction.
You're going to say fiction. So you do not think Kellum holds the record?
No.
Well, they did hold the record at 12 against Wakefield. I think it was at Wesleyan, but the record has since been broken by Massanutten Military Academy against Combine. If you remember a couple years ago when we had the local kids come back, Massanutten with Kanye Clary, who now plays for Penn State in the Big Ten, and Jacob Cooper, who played at Green Run for Combine, now at Lander University. And I think Kyrese Mullen was on one of those teams as well. He might have been on the Massanutten team. But Massanutten made 13 threes in the event, so that's the official record. So if somebody could go out there and light it up, break that record today potentially. And here's a bonus one. We got a bonus one. Matt Hatfield refused to let Coach Ed Young accompany him in the suite for Sunday's Denver Nuggets at Washington Wizards NBA game. Is that a fact or fiction?
Yeah, before I can even answer, this guy takes my potential ticket and gives it away. So I will not be at the suite.
You were non-committal last Saturday on the show. Everybody saw it.
I'm not going to complain. You have your favorites. That's fine. It's okay with me. This is why many times we have pending lawsuit. Oh, you're right, Vinny. I'm not allowed to say that.
When have you invited me to your Charlotte Hornets game that you go to 3-4 times a year, thanks to your buddy, Mr. Buzz Peterson?
Well, there's a reason behind that.
I'm sure there is. Multiple reasons.
Yeah, I can't divulge that.
No, you can't.
Family show.
Yeah, it's a family
and I'll
show,
leave it
right?
at that. I'll leave it at that. But it is a great opportunity for you to go and you're throwing the ball up at jump ball or something.
Whatever that is, co-captain thingamabob. I guess I get to have a pool party with Jordan Poole, not in my neighbor's pool, but with Jordan Poole. How about that?
There you go. He gets to call what end they're going to, who kicks off, who defers.
I don't know, but I'll find out when I get there.
Well, you can't blow that too much because of the Wizards. The Wizards our season is in the tank already. So
I just hope Joker plays because they just beat the Celtics last night. He could just say I'm not playing, and that could ruin my experience. I want to see Joker and see if he says to the Wizards, if he dies like Ivan Drago.
Well, I would tell you this: either Joker or Murray, one of them is not going to play. You almost guarantee one of them will not come to. They'll be there maybe, but they won't be in uniform. It'll be their load management, as they call it, their sit-out time, because they'll beat the Wizards by probably 22.
I'll take your word for it. All right, we're going to take a timeout. Maybe we'll hear the Dollar Dame commercial with Gatorade coming back. We got NFL picks to close out the show. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere with Hatfield and Young at the PLEX and Cova Sports TV.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matt Hatfield, as it is now time for our NFL picks for the divisional round in the no shock about that.
There's a smell in that room, but I don't think it's a rose.
I think it's a rose.
And I'm glad it's only you there right now, and we'll leave it at that.
It's a rose. I think it's a rose. I get to go first, though, right? Isn't that how this works? This game works? I get to go first?
Yeah, you were the leader last week, so we'll give you your just desserts.
My carte blanche. All right, first selection for me, Edward, and then you get two, and you'll give us your straight-up picks as well. Green Bay played really well. I think they'll score, but the Niners will score maybe. Remember, I got the over on the Texans-Browns by Houston by themselves. I don't think San Francisco gets 52, but it's over 50.5, and I like over 50.5 for the Niners and Pack. I think Green Bay will get about 21, and the Niners will get about 41, and that gives you 62 points, and you get over the total. So there you go. First pick, nice and easy. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You're up.
Let me see here. I've been going back and forth. Kansas City, Buffalo, 2.5. It's in Buffalo. I thought beginning of the year Kansas City would be in the Super Bowl. I will stay with Kansas City plus the 2.5.
You're not listening either, watching me dance instead. You're going Kansas City plus 2.5? All right. What's your next pick?
Okay. Let me
let me know what happens in that game, because I'll be at the Wizards game. I hope they got a TV in the suite. I won't be watching it as
sure you will.
I would like to.
I'm sure they'll hook you up with all that.
All right. What's your next pick? Derek Nottie, the local kid, by the way, from Ocean Lake, on that D-line for KC. And Andy Reid, who won't have his mustache get frozen this week. Let's hope not, in Buffalo. He's studying diligently, ladies and gents.
I'm just
in his ear. That means he's really torn.
Who I want to take Baltimore, but 9.5 points to a Houston team that's been holding steady all year.
This is our last three first, so we just do picks on each game for the conference championship and Super Bowl. So it'll be a little easier for you next week. A little tricky this week.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to go. Oh,
you want to go with a player prop? I'll let you take a player prop if you want. That helps matters, but you weren't prepared for that. So
no, I'm prepared to take the proper ones. Give me. Wait.
Make up your mind.
Give me Detroit minus 6.5.
Ooh, I was going to take that. You're taking the Lions.
6.5.
Do I put a checker on a checker with Edward Vincent and let him beat me for the playoffs? I don't dare.
Playoffs. I guess we're allowed to in playoffs because it's only 4 games.
We can. That's what we can. KC Buffalo. I'm going to go Oppo you and take the Bills minus the 2.5. I think they win and cover, but I'm going to go with a slick one here, Ed. You ready for this one? I'm going to go with a second half prop. You ready? Going back to that game, I'm going to go under 22.5. Second half, Bills and Chiefs. I don't think there will be more than 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I think 3 touchdowns at the most is what you get. All right, that's my little special. And you get the last pick. As he squirmed his lips like Fred Sanford when he was making that bet in episode 1 of Sanford and Son. I'm not making that bet. I'm sorry, making that bid at the auction when he was making that funny face. You remember that? That's a great episode. Where he has a little thing where he's bidding, making his face. That's what Ed's doing right now. Yeah. That's a great episode. Love that episode. And then Lamont says, "Why were you doing that?" He called him a big dummy. "Why did you do that? You bid on your own item."
And then it slipped my arthritis.
My arthritis. You big dummy. Great episode.
Did I take Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown?
Do it. What's the value of it? Go ahead. What is it? Minus or plus?
Anytime minus 360.
Oh, you got to lay. Okay, you can. I mean, that's a cop out if I've ever seen one, but I'll give it to you. I hope he doesn't score just to rub it. I hope he gets 200 yards and doesn't score. It'd be beautiful.
Really stopped at the 1 yard line.
Like Mahomes did against the Jets when you were screaming at the TV. That was beautiful. It'd be great. So there you have it. The picks: Chiefs plus 2.5, Lions minus 6.5, anytime TD minus 360 for McCaffrey. Going on a limb there, are you, Ed? I'm going under 22.5. Buffalo, KC second half. Bills minus 2.5. Over 50.5. Niners, Green Bay. Bruce has got Bills minus 2.5, Texans plus 9.5, and Packers plus the 10. All right, your winners, by the way. I'm going to go Ravens, Niners, Lions, and Bills. Pretty chalky, all 4 favorites. How about you?
I'll go agree on all those except give me Chiefs over Bills.
All right, there you have it from the coach, Ed Young. That's going to do it for this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's been fun. See you out at the Green Run High School venue for the Virginia Preps Classic 15th Annual, and we'll do it again next week, Ed, Lord willing. See you out there.
We'll see you.
That's going to do it for this edition. Talk to you next time with Hatfield, Young, and even Vinny at the PLEX. Enjoy your sports weekend, everyone. Stay safe.